Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make this beautiful herringbone and Superduo bracelet. So I have a few videos out. I did a whole bunch more. I know that it was hard to see my hand position and I wasn't quite sure when to add more of the herringbone. So this one, I've worked it out into 4 steps after you do your initial herringbone start with your little piece at the beginning. Let me get that in focus. So I want to jump right in and get started. I just thought I'd show you, this one's like probably my favorite. The colors really turned out amazing, and I'm going to be doing some more videos on putting different clasps on a specific bracelet. So if you see, this is the one I made for my sister. It has Swarovski crystals, and that's the other thing I wanted to mention is you can actually put different size beads in here. So I think the idea was to use a 3mm round bead initially, but I went ahead and did a 4mm bicone, and it turned out amazing. And this was the clasp that I put on that. So you can take a look. I show how to put this clasp on. And then this was the initial video, and I was showing how to put a magnetic clasp. So we'll get to the different clasps at another time. I am getting going. First of all, I've got a lot of comments, and people were really positive about, understanding that it's a new design for me. But I started doing a sports team color coordination for my sister and her husband. So her color is the Toronto Maple Leafs, so white and blue. And his color, he's from Montreal, so it's the Montreal Canadiens. And theirs is like an opaque red and an opaque blue, which is more this blue. But I couldn't find any 3mm beads for that, so we're going to use that. But we're going to do the base in a Miyuki. This is called Royal Blue. So yeah, so I'm using size 6 green dragon thread from Potomac Beads, and you can use whatever you have. I would suggest you use something that's has a little thickness to it to give your bracelet some structure. You don't want it to be too flimsy. So let's put Sylvia's aside, and we're going to need some beads. She has no idea, or him. This is going to be hilarious to see what their reaction is to the sports teams. Yeah, let's just put them there. Why not? So I'm using a size 12 needle. You can use a size 10 as well. And let's see if I can straighten that a bit. And I use as much thread as I can possibly manage. It's usually about maybe a wingspan and a half, but if you're starting out, you want to definitely take just a wingspan. So you just, let's enlarge this, and I'm gonna take it down a bit here. You know what, this is not gonna work here because it's gonna be in the way. I find when there's something in the background, it's hard to see the beads. So you start with 4 and bring that down. Leave a bit of a tail, one to hang on to, because it is hard to hang on to stuff at the beginning. So let's show you what I have here. So now I'm going to come through the first 2 up through the bottom. Like that. And if you know how to start herringbone, by all means just skip ahead. And I should talk about some of the information that people have provided for me regarding this design. So one of the questions was, why not just do herringbone? straight herringbone, and then attach your Superduos and your crystals and stuff. So I apologize. So I just, when I went up the first two, then I came down on this side, and you can see there's a bit of gap, not a big deal. Just hang on to your beads and bring your thread down in the other direction, and it tightens it. It might get loose again, so don't worry about it. Just tighten your tail. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 rows of herringbone. So if you're familiar with herringbone, it always is 2 sets of beads, gives you a row. So we're going to do 3, which means we're actually going to do 6. So pick up 2. You're coming out of the bottom, you're going to go through the top. So at first when somebody asked me that, why not? And you know what? I asked myself the same thing. Why not just do it in 2 steps? And I had thought, you know what? Maybe I'll do a video doing it in the 2 steps and see how it turns out. And then I think about beading all the time, in case you're wondering. So I don't know, I think I was getting ready for bed or something like that. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. It was like, it became clear to me. I'm picking up 2, going through the bottom. And basically, what I realized is the reason this design is so good is if you were to do it in 2 steps, you would end up using twice the amount of thread, because you're going to go all the way through the whole length of your bracelet, and then you're going to come back and you're going to have to attach the Superduos and the round beads. So you're actually going to have to go through the edges of your herringbone, and if you don't go through all your beads again, your thread is going to pull the end beads and the end row up like this, and it will look really wonky. As it is, it does pull it up a bit, and we'll see when we get going. So you definitely want your beads to be all secured in 1 step. And honestly speaking, I like to start at one end at the other, going back and forth. I mean, I do it, but my attention span can't deal. In case you're wondering, I get bored easily. So if I don't, I'm terrible. I have projects that have no class on them because I'm like, okay, I did that bracelet. Now I'm going to move on to something else. I'm sure you guys have the same. So this is our last set of 2 beads that we're adding. This is just our start. This is basically a brick stitch. And then we will move on to the herringbone. So go down that one. So that's what we have. And again, it looks a bit loosey-goosey, not a big deal. I think part of that, I'm using the Miyukis are a bit tinier than a Toho. I prefer the Toho, but I'll tell you the Miyukis look just as wonderful. These are Miyukis. They look gorgeous. So no big. I think these opaque ones are a tick smaller than these ones. So okay, so now normally in herringbone, you end here, your thread is gonna come up, and you're gonna go up through the bottom of this bead here, but you usually put some type of embellishment on your thread to hide it, so like a 15-0 or maybe a picot of, you know, a couple of 15-0s, that kind of thing, or a delica. That's commonly used. But we don't want that. We want this to be just straight, kind of graphic looking. So you're going to take your thread from the edge and you're going to bring it up through the bead next to it, and just that bottom bead. So you kind of have to move your beads around a bit. Bring your needle through just that one. And then you're going to go over to the edge and go through the bottom of the second bead there. And now you're set up to start your herringbone. that. Let's get that, scooch that one there. So pick up 2 beads like that. You're coming out of this one, you're going to go down just this bead here, and again kind of use your fingers to manipulate the needle through the bead that you want, like that. So in case I haven't mentioned it, 11/0 beads, then a 3mm druck, and these are opaque red Superduos. And you know what? I counted them because I compared it to my sister's bracelet. They have the same size wrist. So I counted the Superduos that I used for hers and then counted these. So there's actually 10 extra beads in the tube to make a 7.5-inch bracelet. So that's pretty good. Okay, so now we're coming out of this bottom one here. We want to be coming up through the bottom of that one there. This is the only time we're going to do it this way. It's just because when we do brick stitch, the beads all sit together nicely. So now pick up 2, and you're coming out of here. We're going to go down this side here. And this is what I mean. It's a bit fiddly at this point, but be patient, I'll tell you. And I've had people comment that once they got past this little hiccup, or even like the once we get going on the Superduos, you get a few rows in, it's amazing. It's so simple, and you just see it coming together quickly after that. So hang in there. So these are the last 2 here. I like to turn mine over just to, that way I can poke that out this way, like that. So I am going to do, let me see what I did for hers. I did only 2, oh wait, here, this one. So I did 1, 2, 3, I think 4 rows. So we have 3 rows so far. That's the rows. So we'll do 1 more row before we start adding our Superduos. So again, we're coming out of this side here. We're going to go up just through that one next to it, up through the bottom. Let me position my needle so you can see, like that. Bring it through, nice, and that's hooked on the bottom bead. So just be aware that, you know, this does kind of hook up sometimes. They're doing a hookup. That's not allowed in beading. Okay, move your thread, your needle over to the first one and up through the bottom there. And just get that nice and snug. There we go. Okay, so this row will be easier because if you see, the top beads kind of sit in a V shape. So it makes it easier for your needle to go through to the next set of beads. So pick up 2, like that. Coming out of this bead, we're going to go through this bead from the top, and we're going to scoop from the bottom into the next set. And I just kind of position those guys where I want them. Pick up 2. Coming out of this bead, we're going to go through this one and scoop up through the bottom of the next. And get those guys down there. There's all kinds of tricks on how to get your herringbone to sit properly. Get that in there. There. Tight. And this is the last one. So pick up 2. We're going to go down this side, and I'm going to flip it. There. So that's what you have. So now, let me double check here to see if okay, I'm going to do one more row, and the reason being, if I look at this, if you see where my thread's coming out, it's coming out after the 4th bead. So I want it to be the same, and that will give you a little bit more to put a clasp on. I probably will do magnetic clasp for these guys. So we have to do our turnaround for the edge. So just go up through that bead there. And then up through the bottom edge one. Like that. And pick up 2. Go down through that one and up through the next one. Get those. I find these tiny ones a little harder to get in the correct position, and I think part of it is there's like static and they stick together. Let's see if that. Okay, pick up 2. Go down this one and up the next one. That. There. And the last 2, I'm going to turn it. I kind of wish I had some opaque blue big beads. I even checked if I had 8-ohs. But, you know, I used to, like, I'm a shiny girl. A sparkly, shiny girl. If you guys didn't figure that out already. So when I order beads, that's what I order. And then I started ordering some opaque colors to do some rainbow pride stuff. And ended up realizing I really need to have some different sizes of the opaques. Okay, so we're ready to go here. We're going to pick up a Superduo, a 3mm druck. Those don't want to come on my needle. And then another Superduo. So that's what you're going to have. You're coming out of the bottom of this side. We're going to go to the other side, and we're going to go down 2 and come up. So let me just, it's a little awkward to do this, so I think I'll flip it, might make it easier. And I'm going to go up the 2 beads on the edge. There, like that. And I'm going to flip it back so you can see what it looks like. Looks like that. It's going to be weird. I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure it'll look fine. I'm trying all the different colors. So now, so the idea is there's 4 basic steps. This is your first step, adding Superduo, druck, Superduo. So turn your work around and then do herringbone to the next side. And then I'll tell you what's after that. So this is your step 2. So pick up 2. You're coming out of this bead. We're going to go through this one from the top and up through the base of the next one. There. Pick up 2. And if you want your, so this side here, you can see where there's some thread there. Your first set, it's not a huge deal if it's a bit loose, because when you go to put your clasp, you can always tighten that little section. But you also want to be mindful that if you pull it too tight, your work is going to fold over, which some of them I did that way. I think this one you can kind of see it curved a bit. So if you want to tighten that up, and I think I will, because I feel like it's a little too loose. You see how much it's moving. Just take these two beads with your nail and pull it up, and it pulls it tight. So let me just do that and then pull. So there, now you have your tension. So you've got your two beads. You're going to go through this one here and scoop the bottom of the next bead. There. And bring that over. Pick up two. So you're coming out of here. We're going to go down this one here. Like that. And I'm going to turn it. That one over. Yeah, these beads are really kind of finicky. There we go. Okay. So now I'm flipping my work. So we're going to do step 3. Step 3 is our thread is coming out of 2 beads down here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back through the same hole that we went through on the first. So when we added this, it's down below the bead. We're in the position above it, but we're going to just reinforce it. So go through Superduo, Druck, and Superduo, bottom hole. Pull that through like that. And we are going to go up. So you see, count your beads. There's 3. Because we were down 2 on this one, we're going to go up 2 on this one. And that's going to secure. I'm going to flip it. Just makes it a little easier. Till we get some action here. So go through. There. Go through those 2 beads. Step 4, and you're going to repeat these 4 steps. So step 4 is another herringbone. So we're going to go across these 3 rows of herringbone to come around to the other side. So you're here, we're going to go down through this one, up through the next one, and it will kind of gather them together as well. There. Pick up 2. Down this one. Up the next one. That. There. Pick up 2. Down this one. Just the one. I'm going to flip it. Just to make it easier. There. Okay. So this is what we have so far. So that's our bottom holes of the Superduos. So now this is, if you think the first step we added the Superduos. So this step here, we're going to go through the top holes and we're going to add. Just trying to get that guy smudged there. So we're going to go through the top hole of the Superduo. And we're going to add our next set of Superduo herringbone or Druck. So Superduo, round bead, Superduo. So that's what you're going to add. You're going to go through the top hole of the second Superduo. like that. And that's how this starts. So now we have to go through, what did we go down here? So we're down 2 on this side. So we're going to bring our needle between the, 2 down and pull it in like that. And we're going to add our herringbone. So step 2 is herringbone. So you can just repeat those four rows to get the rest of your bracelet. So let's see if we can speed this up a bit so you can get a better idea what it's going to look like. So go down this side, just the one bead, and up the next. Now see if I can get that over. These guys are just... there. Okay. Pick up 2. And go down the next bead here. And I'm going to try and pull that together because I feel like there's a bit of a space there. Okay, pull that down. So that was step 2. Now step 3, because we just added this on the other step, we are going to go through everything again. So we're going to go through the top hole of this outer Superduo. We're going to pass through the Superduo, the Druck, and the other Superduo, and we're going to pass through the top hole of the other one that was there. So the hole we're going through on this middle set is the middle or the bottom holes. So let's take it through. And I usually do it in 2 steps. But I could see my needle's bent. I could probably make it through all beads. Go make sure you go through both of the Superduos. And that's what's going to secure it evenly to your bracelet. And I start to hold it this way, hold it down like that. So it's starting to lay flat. So then come up through 2 here. Now I'm going to have to do that in 2 steps. These beads are just pain in the butt. There. Okay. So now we're going to put herringbone. So you can keep flipping your work over to get to it. I think initially probably in one of the first videos I did, I like to hold my beads in the same position all the time because especially for doing videos, it's easier for you to figure out where I'm at. If I keep moving where the beads are or what orientation I have it in, it makes it difficult. But clearly with this design, it works better to flip it so you can actually see the work. Because in essence, it's a 2-sided bracelet. So there. Down here. Okay, so this step we're going to add. So we have to go through the top hole of the last Superduo that we added. We're going to pick up a Superduo, a round bead, and a Superduo. We're going to go through the top hole of the Superduo at the end, pull that tight, and we're going to go down 2 beads here. Let me flip it and come up both. That one was not flipped. There we go. Let me pull that in. And you can kind of like wiggle it between your fingers to get it tight. Pick up. Now we're going to do the herringbone. So down and up. Let me just adjust my string. It's starting to get kinked here. I find when it's time to release a bit of the folded over thread, that's usually the indicator it starts to twist on itself. Okay. I think this is going to turn out really nice. I know my brother-in-law is going to love it. I don't know if I told you, but I was sending him bracelets, leather wrap bracelets that I was making. So anytime I do a bracelet, I usually think of him, and especially if it's more of a man style. So when they came to visit for my birthday last May, I was so tickled. So they stayed in a hotel. So they'd come over after they had breakfast and we'd do stuff together. He had a different bracelet on every day, and it was all bracelets I had made him. Oh, it just made me so happy. Okay, so since we just added this set, now we need to reinforce it. It's interesting, this looks like there's a big space, eh? Oh, it's just, I'm looking too close. So we're going to take our thread and we're going to go through the outer top hole of the Superduo below, and we're going to go through everything again so you can kind of grab hold of the bottom hole of that Superduo, go through the round druck like that, and then don't forget to come back down and go through the 2 holes of both those Superduos like that, and then we're going to go up 2 beads. It's a little hard to do this on camera too, because there's lights in my way and stuff, and, and my vision isn't the best. So I'm going to be 59 this year. And you know, do you ever get that where there's certain years when you turn that age and it's just like in your head you think, oh my gosh, I'm old. So 59's not the one that's bothering me, although it's starting to, because I'm thinking it's way too close to 60. 60 is my watermark. I'm like, no. And I know a lot of you ladies are in your 80s. I got a message from somebody just the other day. They're 83 and they just started watching my videos. So tell me if you have any hints for dealing with aging, because I feel like I'm not dealing with it that well. When my wife Jennifer turned 65, we would go shopping at different places and they'd have Seniors Day. So I started jokingly saying that it was my Senorita Day, and she's my Senorita. It was interesting how phrasing it that way really made it, one, you're getting a discount, and two, made a joke out of it instead of freaking out like I'm doing. Okay, so now we are going to go through and add another set of beads. We'll do the 4 steps one more time, and then you're on your own. I I say that jokingly, but you know what? You're not on your own. If you have any questions, by all means, ask in the comments. And if you want to show me what you're doing, just go ahead and send me an email with a picture of what you're working on and if you have problems with something. I have no problems. People, I say it all the time, and I'm surprised people don't email me more. So you've got your Superduo, Druck, Superduo. You're coming out of the top hole of that Superduo. You're going to go through the top hole of the other side. Pull it through like that. I'm going to flip it, just makes it easier to grab hold. You're 2 beads down, you're going to go up through those 2 beads like that. Do a pass of herringbone. Get in there. That. And sometimes I put 3 beads on when there's supposed to be 2. I think that, yeah, I got 3 on there. So just come back out of those 2 beads. I always make mistakes when I'm like rushing like that. So now that just hooked around my lines. Let me just go back out here. This so I can see where my thread is hooked. See if that did it. Oh, I'm gonna have to take it off my needle. So that happens. Don't freak out like I do. Like, oh, what's going on? You know what it is? I must have had it through. Oh, I had it through the next one and I forgot to. Looks like I had it through the bottom. Okay, take that bead off. Okay, now we have 2 on the line. And get this. On there. Okay, let's try that again. So go down and up. Pick up 2. Down and up. I should do a Wonder Woman one. I have some charms. I think there was like 3 of them on a card from Michael's, and it's Wonder Woman. So I've been wanting to do a Wonder Woman bracelet and add those charms to it. Okay, so now we're going to pass through everything again. So let's get through that truck as well, like that. Pull tight. So here's the thing with this color. Let me go through here before I forget. So the Montreal Canadiens symbol is the red, but it's outlined in blue, and then there's a blue line in the middle as well. So so this actually looks nice because the blue is kind of outlining it. So we'll do the final herringbone in the 4 steps. We are set to go. 2 through. These don't take long at all. I'm watching TV in the evenings, and a couple hours, one bracelet's done. So, and once you've kind of figured out the pattern, and I tried to work it out for you in those 4 steps, it goes really fast. There. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. They are going to be wearing these Saturday night hockey. And it's so funny because they post pictures wearing their different jerseys. So there we go. Toronto Maple Leafs. We got the bling for the Maple Leafs. And then the Montreal Canadiens. So I hope that was helpful. If it, again, this should probably be the end of me redoing this video. I think the big thing was to break it down into the 4 steps so that you could say, okay, this is what step I'm at. I need to repeat these ones, kind of thing. But if you're not sure when to add the Superduos and you put too many, I mean, it works if you do like more rows of your herringbone, but what ends up happening is your thread's on the wrong side when you go to add stuff. So anyway, take care. Thanks for all your wonderful support. I really appreciate it. People are so nice in the beading world on YouTube. I really appreciate it. This has been a really amazing experience for me to have this and share this and be able to talk to people and stuff. So there you go. Take care. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.